Hi there, and welcome back to the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. I'm Brian Burr, joined as always by the founder of the Junior Golf Hub, Roger Nick. Very special guest today, a national champion head coach of the University of Oregon. That is the one and only Casey Martin. Coach, so great to have you. I know this time of year is crazy. Obviously, your team was in Auburn last week and traveling back to the Pacific Northwest. How excited do you still get for this time of year, the good years, the bad years? Obviously, that one magical season where you guys got to play the championship on your home course. But this time of year, so much work goes in. College golf, one of the few sports in college athletics that play both the fall and the spring, and it kind of all culminates right now. How exciting is this time of year?
Yeah, you nailed it. We play all year and try to gear up for this run of the postseason, and when you're in it and doing well, there's nothing like it. And obviously we failed at Auburn to advance, so there's a little bit of a gut punch and a little bit of an empty feeling right now. But it's an amazing college golf's amazing. I mean, you play these amazing courses and the kids are getting so good now. It's really fun to be involved in that and to watch the kids develop and then try to compete with the best teams. It definitely is a buzz, and it's fun to do it.
Coach, I know it's disappointing, and sorry you had a tough week last week, but we know golf is hard. One of the things that we talk a lot about on the show is getting to know the programs that are out there. Obviously, you guys have a stellar program, awesome coach, and yourself. What are some of the things you're looking for now in a player at the level that the college golf is at these days? I mean, it's got to be incredibly difficult for you to recruit a player in that's going to be able to make an impact in your program. So how does a parent, or actually more the player, understand what they need to do to play at like a school like Oregon?
Yeah, it's a great question. So golf has this one amazing statistic that you can really follow, and that's your score. And you can look at driving, you can look at hitting, putting, all that. But at the end of the day, you put it all together and you have this score. And so at the end of the day, every coach like myself, we're trying to watch the kids that shoot the lowest scores. That's the overarching mega thing we look at. Okay. But there's a lot that goes into that. And you can be fooled at times by that number. And so you got to get out there. You got to watch and see the kids, see their fundamentals, see how they hit the shots, see how they behave. Try to get under the hood a little bit and see what makes them tick. So it's not just that, but at the same time, that really is the guiding principle. When you look at some of the recruiting services that rank the kids and they're scoring, all the top kids are going to all the top programs. It's pretty simple. So that part's, once you identify those kids at the top, it's not that hard. They're pretty clear cut in a lot of ways. Getting them's not easy, but you can identify them. But then as it goes down, to try to find diamonds in the rough is a little bit of a challenge. It's really fun too, to try to watch and see what kids you think are going to actually develop and reach their peak when they're in college, because some kids do peak when they're 14, and you got to be careful there. So it's a mystery, it's a puzzle, it's really fun. I enjoy the recruiting process, to get out there and watch and see what I can come up with. Sometimes I've been successful, other times I've whiffed before, but it's still really fun.
Haven't we all?
Recently, Coach, saw a video you talking a little bit about player development, discussing PDI, but just the ability to have a system that makes a player better and how universal that system can be. When you bring players to Oregon, how important is bringing them in at X and having them leave at Y, taking a few more steps?
Yeah, you got to develop them now, because getting a top 10 kid is so difficult. You can't guarantee that's going to happen every year, especially at a place like Oregon where, we're not blessed with millions and millions of people. We have a good junior golf program at Oregon, but it's not like there's just turning out elite players right and left. So you got to be able to identify some kids that may not be top 10 in the country, but you can get there. And then once you get them, you got to develop them. So that starts with facilities and having the kind of infrastructure where the kids can develop. It starts with coaching. where you have some people that know what they're doing to identify the right things. So it's a puzzle that way, but there's a lot of tools coming out now, as you mentioned, where you can kind of get under the hood and find out what really needs to be done. Whereas in the past, it was a bit more of a mystery. But with all the tools now, I think you can do a better job and identify it. I think you're seeing kids that are already getting this process even before college that are getting so good. And I think the future of golf is going to be amazing. If I was a junior golfer, if you had the right instruction, the right people around you, you can really cut through a lot of the fog and get really good really quick, I think.
With that being said, give us your thoughts on what are the main factors, lead factors for you. You're looking at a young player, or maybe even just coaching your own. What would you say? What do you need to do?
Yeah, amazing question. Don't know if I have that figured out. I would have said 10 years ago, I would have said skill. I would have said I want a skilled golfer regardless how big he is or whatever. That's shifting a little bit, and I see it more and more. I still think if you're not a big person and don't hit the ball a long way, you can still be a really good college player. But we just played Auburn. It was 7,600-yard golf course. It was wet. You got no roll. And I'm telling you, the teams that really pound it advanced. And we have some length on our team, but we're not the longest. And I think it was a real challenge when you get to a golf course like that. And you're starting to see that more and more. And so I think when I'm looking now, like I said, you're looking at scores and then you're trying to piece it together. And I think I'd want a kid with some speed that's willing to work on his body to get strong, because it is such a huge factor going forward.
One player, you talked about finding diamonds in a rough. Aiden Kraft, who's been a great player for your team. He played at the Nota Begay Championship, went through the PDI, was really not a household name. His PDI score numbers were kind of off the charts. You took a chance on this kid, and Casey, he's been everything you could have wanted, right? I mean, how often is it that you or other schools find someone that generally doesn't have the big quote unquote AJGA Rolex ranking, but they've got whatever it takes to compete at the highest level?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate there because I knew a guy named Nota Begay, and Nota called me up and says, "Hey, you got to look at this kid. I see him around all the time. I can't really beat him." And I looked at his resume, or at least early, and he was really raw, right? And so we got to talking and began that process, and I was able to get Aiden, and he's a perfect example of a kid, diamond in the rough, late to golf. So his resume was late to the party a little bit, but that's just because he wasn't playing junior golf when he was 10 years old. I don't think he really picked up a club till he was like 13 or 14. So he was a late bloomer, but he has some of those measurables, innate talent, speed. He's still really raw, but he's getting really good, and I'm really grateful I have him. But sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and I was able to have a good connection there.
Well, that's how I say that about Roger all the time too. So we're in the same boat.
Yeah, right. Actually, that's a really good point. I think, we're seeing more and more of this trend of, some golfers, or let me say athletes, coming to golf later. And I think one of the really highlights that we've seen doing and creating PDI is seeing that trend happen firsthand for now almost 15 years. I say trend. It's been 15 years in the making of seeing and measuring those lead factors like power outputs, or whether it's golf skills or mental skills for that matter, understanding where the player's coming from. And I guess I'll get to a question. The question is, other athletes who play other sports, do you see those are assets? Is that a credit to the player? Do you feel like, oh my God, you should be spending all your time with just golf? Because I think there's a lot of confusion in the marketplace right now, especially for parents who go, I got to get my kid playing U.S. kids at 8 years old and winning the national championship. And boy, if they do that, they're going to go play at Oregon or Stanford, right? I mean, that's the kind of the resounding message. What would you say about that?
It's partly true. I'm not going to say it's not some measure of truth. You got to get out there. You got to compete. You got to build a resume. You got to be good at golf, right?
Yeah.
But what happens at 10 and 12 years old isn't always a great indicator of what's going to happen at 22 or 20. So you need to be athletic. You need to be strong. Aiden was a kid who played other sports. There's a lot of kids like him that were athletic, and then they finally fell in love with golf and went after it. So it's a balance. You can't do that too late, because if you do it when you're 18, it's too late. So you don't want to just say, hey, be a good athlete and come get a scholarship to Oregon. You got to have the scores like what we spoke about. But I think being a team sport guy and then shifting to golf or being an athlete, it does help. It helps your hand-eye coordination. It helps mentally. There's a lot of things that you learn in these other sports that really translate, just grit, determination, fight. The stuff that I said, like that's under the hood that you can't really tell. Some of the kids that all they do is play golf and are catered to at 10 years old, you don't really know what's under there. I mean, are they just good because they've had this amazing support, and are they a time bomb waiting to happen of pressure? That's the other thing too. A lot of these kids that get really good, they deal with expectations and pressure, and they're not willing to make some of the changes they need to make because they're already good and they don't want to lose it. Mm-hmm. So a kid that's a little bit more raw, that is new to it, doesn't really fear that, and he's going for it. So, but at the same time, there's a balance to everything. It's not one way 100%. It's, you got to play, you got to compete, you got to develop the competitive skills, but you don't have to be a one-trick pony the entire time. You don't have to play golf every day, all day, at 10 years old, because you can deal with burnout, and you need a life too, right? So
yeah, I think I love that answer. I also think, and Ryan, you and I have talked about this a lot, is those golfers who grow up as an individual, playing individually for themselves and only for themselves. It's a rude awakening when you go to a college and now all of a sudden you're integrated into a team environment, team concept that is actually kind of, it's scary. It's one of those things where I think kids don't perform well a lot of times because the pressure now that I might end up being the fifth guy as my freshman year, and all of a sudden my score counts, and I've never had that score count like that before. And I've heard from a lot of our parents, we've had, lots of kids go on to play college that call me and go, what do we do about this? What do we do? And it's like, well, I mean, this is the advantage of playing team sports. You know what your expectations are of doing your job, as Bill Belichick would say, but a lot of kids don't experience that in golf. A lot of kids just go straight to, I'm playing for myself. They go to a great program that's a great team culture environment, that all of a sudden find themselves a little in a little no man's land there. Do you find that happening, or do you hear guys talk about that at all?
Sure. I think every kid is dealing with some level of expectation. And I've dealt with that on my team. Like, we give scholarships, and now there's NIL. And so I've experienced this in the past where you've given a kid a big scholarship. Let's say you give a kid a full ride, and they show up and it's like, whoa, I feel the weight of this and the expectations. Yeah. And I've had the other side where you give a kid a walk-on spot and they are so hungry, they can't wait to prove it. So it's a weird dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And I think the idea is, obviously you want a big scholarship, you want to be one of those kids, but you got to play hungry. You can't play out of fear. You can't play out of expectation. You got to love this game. You got to have a plan to be good. You got to keep your head down, not so much in the golf swing, but just keep your head down mentally and emotionally, and let a lot of that stuff fade and just be about getting better. And that's what I try to emphasize to the guys and emphasize in my program when I recruit is like, come here, let's just get better. Just every day, find a way to get better. And don't let those expectations weigh on you, because they can. I mean, at the end of the day, it's college golf. It's not life. It's not even football or basketball, but the kids feel it. And certainly when you take money or take a big scholarship and NIL, there's going to be expectations. So you got to be ready for it. So that's not going away.
Yeah. Let's touch briefly. You obviously great career at Stanford, on the way to the PGA Tour. You played with some guys that turned out to be pretty good at Stanford when you were there. But college golf is as awesome as that time was. I can make the argument we're in the golden age of college golf right now. Certainly PGA Tour U has a lot to do with that. Go back to even Aaron Wise when he was winning the national championship with Oregon. There was nothing like it is now, where you have direct paths and access. Wise had to really grind it out to make it to the PGA Tour. Some of your superstars at Oregon that might have been PGA Tour, you guys never, have struggled to find access and find that path there. The golden age, you look at the Clantons, you look at the guys, Thor Goranson played great this week at the PGA Championship. I mean, this is a PGA Tour guy. Berg, I mean, are you kidding me? He came out and made the Ryder Cup team three months later. Yeah. Television, access, buy-in by the PGA Tour, for college golf. Is this the golden age, Coach?
I think so. I think you've nailed it. Things have changed in college golf. When I was growing up, the coaches, some of them played, but a lot of them were administrators / really good guys, managers. Now you're getting ex-players like myself. I mean, at Oregon, myself and Jeff Quinney, I think we're one of the few programs that have 2 former PGA Tour players now coaching. You start to see that. Illinois, Mike Small, and other places around, really good players that are now coaching. So you have that element. And the facilities are they're incredible what's gone on in the last 30 years. I mean, it's crazy how good the college golf facilities are and the support. So I think when you do that, and then all the technology that goes into it, all the instruction, the kids that come to an elite program, I mean, it's set for you to excel, right? I mean, you play these amazing tournaments. Now they're on TV, so you get that prep. It's not like you just show up on the PGA Tour and have to deal with it. Now we're dealing with it 3 or 4 times a year where you're used to a camera in your face and you're getting used to that. The golf courses are bigger, stronger. I mean, everything's coming up. And so what's happening is these kids are just ready. And they're even ready before they get to college. A lot of these kids that have the support or the financial means, I mean, when they're 15, 16, they've got TrackMans, they've got coaches, they've got all this stuff, and they're way ahead of the game compared to our era. So yes, it is a golden age of facilities, of support, of talent. Kids from all over the world are coming. It's not just, hey, I'm Oregon, I'm going to recruit Oregon golfers. It's like I get phone calls, kids from Thailand and Europe. I mean, it's all we do, and so kids from all over the world are coming because of the support and the financial backing and the facilities. It's an amazing thing to see, and it's churning out some amazing players.
Coach, it is. You mentioned NIL. You mentioned kind of how much is happening in the game right now. Let's turn a little bit sour here a little bit. It is a business. I mean, I think a lot of parents don't realize how much this is a business for not only the coaches but the players now, and the opportunities that are given, and they're not given because there's something attached to it, and it's money, right? So from a collegiate sports today, it's so different than it was when I played, and ancient from when Ryan played, for sure. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so the reality is that it's a different game. I mean, it's a different kind of era, not just about the purity of golf. It is a business. How do you as a coach deal with that? I mean, because it's got to be an onslaught of information coming your way with NIL, and how am I going to get the best deal with the transfer portal, now having to play into what do I give and not give, right? It's got to be a nightmare. It's going to change at some point, right? The NCAA, I mean, as a whole, my opinion, is going to succeed, and sports are going to succeed from the NCAA at some point, and it's going to be a whole different pro league. But so you're dealing with this as a coach. How do you deal with it?
I don't know the question. I mean, that's a great question. Yeah, it feels like a mess. It doesn't feel sustainable, but at the same time, it's here. It's not going away, and we're trying the best we can to deal with it. I know every year when I get into a top recruiting battle, I'm blown away with what it's going to take to sign them, and quite frankly, it's tough. So I wish I was a player at this time. I mean, it would have been really fun. It's different on the other side. I don't have any problem with someone getting some money. I mean, I just don't. I'm not sitting up there self-righteously going, this is terrible. I don't have an issue with it, but it does create a lot of challenges, pressure. It creates a lot of challenges on the coaches to fundraise, and it's not easy. And you're going to see the rich get richer, just because those teams that do have that and that built in. I mean, that's where the kids are going. You've kind of seen it already. So it feels like an uphill battle for me right now, but I'm going to battle and see where it goes. But it is, to all your points, it's a new era. It's a lot of good, and there is definitely some challenge that goes with it. And how I deal with it, I try to get in there, I try to recruit the best and swing for the fences. But it is humbling at times.
Coach,
So I'm losing you. I don't have any audio.
Ryan, I think your mic's off.
There you go.
can you hear me now?
No. Ryan, still off. I still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now, Mike?
Barely.
No. There we go.
Yep, there you go.
We'll pick that up in 3, 2, 1. Coach, you talk about recruiting, the ability to be able to go into a player's house, tell them that your team is going to play on television, tell them that everything that comes with television and what that could be if they play well. You're going to play in the Nota Begay in October at a great golf course where there's going to be a lot of storytelling about your players and the team. How big of an advantage is that?
Yeah, I think so. I was just talking to a couple of my commits from Europe that are coming in, and hopefully they'll be there in Albuquerque this fall, and they're excited because their family can now watch them play from thousands of miles away. It's amazing. So we have a handful of events like that. The one in Albuquerque and the Western and Big Ten Championship, among others. So it's really fun. It adds a level of weight to a tournament. It feels big. Which is really cool. And then it gives those kids amazing experience and a life story. I mean, not all these kids are going to play the PGA Tour, right? And so if they get the chance to be on TV and experience that, they're experiencing something that very, very few people get to do in golf or in life. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to win and get kids to the tour, but it's also cool to just be involved in something. They're playing a role in these kids and giving them great experiences.
Coach, we really appreciate your time. So what are some words of encouragement from Casey Martin would you give to the junior golfers listening today?
Yeah, it's a golden age. You hear these terms, go for it. And there's really that would be the term. There's so much out there for a kid, from facilities, from scholarship, from NIL, from TV. It's an amazing era. And if you're willing to work and fight and do it, who knows? You could be Scotty Scheffler on that stage potentially, or maybe not. But even so, the pursuit of that, the pursuit of a game and the challenge it brings is going to make you a better person, stronger person, whether you play the tour or you got a family or you're working hard for your employer. It is going to, what you learn through this period of working hard to try to be great is going to be a tool for your life, right? So it's, go for it in golf, see how far you can take it, and win or lose, you're going to have an amazing experience. It's going to bless your life. So that's why I'm doing it. I love what I do, and I want to be great, but I also want to play a role with these kids and help them in their lives.
Well, you're doing just that, Coach. I look forward to seeing you in October for sure.
Can't wait.
On Golf Channel, and we absolutely love what you're doing with PDI. Love what you're doing with Oregon, and best of luck this summer. Enjoy, take a little time off, and have a great.
That's right. We'll be ready. See you in October.
All right. Thanks, Chase. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, Roger, certainly you bring in a coach like Casey Martin to hear him endorse your product. Boy, that had to be humbling a little bit as well to hear him talk about PDI. I know that the plan is to get there and for his entire team to go through it. That's going to be special.
Oh, it's going to be special for sure. I mean, the guy is just class act. I mean, as he said, he'd love to be playing. Obviously, everyone knows the tragedy with him and what he went through and his with the rare disease that he had. But amazing player, amazing person. He's doing some great stuff with these young men and that he's coaching and everyone around him for sure. So for him to even say he likes our product, let alone use it, is pretty amazing for us. And we're thrilled and happy to have him on as an ambassador for us because he believes in what we're doing.
And with that said, let's just continue to update a little bit about the junior golf and the MB3 Tour in collaboration, certainly with the Junior Golf Hub as the title sponsor and PDI. There's now 6 events. There's very little room left, unfortunately. The good news was what we thought would happen is people would go wild when we announced that there was opportunities to use PDI as an exemption into the World Championship on Golf Channel. The demand, frankly, I'm not sure we knew it was going to be this intense. That's a great sign. Certainly a big sign for the future, what PDI ultimately is going to mean to junior golf. And as you hear the likes of John Fields and Conrad Ray and Casey Martin, you're talking about Texas, Stanford, and Oregon, say that they want to be able to use PDI as a recruiting tool. You now have players understanding that PDI is important for 3 different reasons. One, it should be able to stand by itself as a way for you to get better, which at the end of the day, it is all about getting better, player development. Now you have the 3 biggest names in college coaching saying, we look at PDI when we can. If a player has it, it's a huge advantage for our recruiting because we know what those PDI scores mean. And then finally, the third arm of this incredible PDI situation is you now have a chance to get into the biggest championship in the world on Golf Channel, where every college coach is watching from just your PDI score. So to say we're getting hit with a tidal wave right now, Roger, that'd be an understatement.
Yeah, I would say that's a tsunami. That's a tsunami. I mean, how fun is that for the players, though, to be able to think that, hey, you know what, maybe I didn't get into a regional or somewhere and we're able to just go and get my PDI done, get a coach-guided PDI, and get into the national championship. Again, we can't thank you guys enough, Ryan, and NB3 national championship that's going to support this and supporting this and backing this in a way that we believe is necessary for a shift in player development and hopefully helping people, you know, these young players and parents understand that there is a way, there is a process, there is a method to getting what they want in and through golf. You know, meaning they can get better at golf, they can maybe set their goals and actually know and have accountability to reaching those goals because they can see it and measure it now way better now than we've ever been able to. And you even heard Coach Martin just talk about that a little bit, finding that player in the diamond in the rough. You know, having something like PDI is so essential to go, okay, they've got skills, he's got power. I mean, the case in point is this player who we saw at NB3 National Championship go through and go, this kid is special. He's got power beyond, and he doesn't even know he can use yet.
I think he finished maybe 10th or 11th at Kashada.
Yeah.
Was a really good player. But when he went and he did the PDI abbreviated assessment, that's where everyone, including Noda, was like, oh, my gosh, the potential here is different than these kids that are even beating him.
Yeah.
And he called, obviously, you heard Casey tell the story. And now Aiden has played all 3 years, freshman, sophomore, now his junior year. He's played a lot as the number 1 at Oregon.
Yeah.
And no one else even knew about him. And frankly, without PDI, without Kashada, without the NB3, this doesn't happen. So it's, you know, those stories are obviously wonderful to hear.
Yeah, really great to hear. And it's why we're out there. It's how we're helping, I think, shift this paradigm between it's not just about rankings. It is about finding some things that you may not even knew you had and people recognizing that. And I think bringing that together with the Junior Golf Hub and being able to put that, you know, front and center for a coach to be able to see out there, putting it on national TV with the MB3 championship. I mean, what's better than that in junior golf? I can't think of anything.
I don't know if you can hear them in the background, but every time I give those 3 initials, PDI, my dogs go crazy. They're trained to go wild about PDI. So it's now not only humans, Roger, it's everything.
I love it. I love it, Ryan.
All right, so that's going to do it. Once again, special thanks to Casey Martin. He obviously is a giant in the coaching game in college golf. Wonderful to hear him talk about PDI. Wonderful to be able to see him and his team play in Noda's college event. We know PDI will be a big part of that college event in October, once again in Albuquerque on Golf Channel. So a lot of great things happening all at once. Moving into the month of June, we are in it. We are in now the absolute golf season. If you're not playing in a local event in your town, you're missing out. Go out, regardless of what tournament it is, what organization it is, play golf. That, at the end of the day, is the most important part of junior golf. Don't try to play this silly ranking game where you skip events. It's about playing as many times as you can and learning to play tournament golf, getting better. And certainly we together, Roger, are doing our best to change the way junior golf is accepted in America. It's made a left turn. We need to make a harsh 90-degree right turn, and I think we're on the right track.
Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly, Ryan. I think that the rankings game is about to come to an end. And we hope that everybody is out playing golf, because every experience is a good experience, right? Not a pass or a fail, but a good experience. And that's what we need.
For our director and producer, Michael Nick, and for, as always, Roger Nick, I'm Ryan Burrs saying once again, this has been the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. We'll see you right back here next week.